July 24th, 1942, 11:18 a.m. 25,000 feet above the Solomon Sea. The sky looks calm from this height. Endless blue stretching in every direction. Sunlight glinting off the waves far below like shattered glass. Inside the aluminum body of a Boeing B17 Flying Fortress, it is anything but calm. Engines roar like thunder, just feet from the crew's heads. The air is thin, bitterly cold. Frost crawls along the metal walls of the fuselage. The smell of oil, hot wiring, and machine grease fills the narrow space. First Lieutenant William R. Lawley Jr. grips the control yoke with gloved hands. Ahead of him, nothing but sky. Behind him, 9 men who trust him with their lives. Navigator, confirm heading, Lawley shouts through the intercom. Heading 215. Target zone in 9 minutes. 9 minutes. Below them somewhere, hidden by clouds and distance, is a Japanese naval formation moving toward the Guadalcanal front. Destroyers. Possibly cruisers. Maybe even transports packed with troops. The problem? No one believes these bombers can hit them. Not the Japanese. And honestly, not many Americans either. A joke among Japanese pilots. When the Imperial Japanese Navy first encountered the Boeing B17 Flying Fortress, the reaction wasn't fear. It was amusement. Japanese fighter pilots flying nimble Mitsubishi, a 6M0 aircraft, watched the massive 4-engine bomber lumber across the sky like a slow-moving whale. Heavy, bulky, predictable. They joked about it. July 24th, 1942, 11:26 a.m. 25,000 feet above the Solomon Sea. The Boeing B17 Flying Fortress levels out, engines humming in perfect rhythm. The aircraft feels strangely steady now, almost calm. But inside the nose compartment, Technical Sergeant Harold Baker feels the tension pressing against his ribs like a tightening vice. Through the glass nose of the bomber, the ocean stretches below like a moving map. Tiny gray specks glide across its surface. The ships. He adjusts the crosshairs of the Norden bomb sight, tracking the lead vessel. A destroyer. Fast. Agile. Zigzagging. Exactly the kind of target naval officers once said was impossible to hit from high altitude. Behind Baker, the rest of the crew waits in silence. In the cockpit, First Lieutenant William R. Lawley Jr. keeps his hands lightly resting near the controls but doesn't touch them. He can't. Right now, the bomb sight is flying the aircraft. The autopilot responds to the tiny mechanical brain inside the sight, nudging the bomber left, then slightly right, making corrections so small, most men inside the aircraft don't even notice. But Baker notices. Every movement matters. Because gravity is unforgiving, and the bomb will not change its mind once it leaves the aircraft. 40 seconds. The bomb's journey from this altitude will take about 40 seconds. 40 seconds of falling through thin, freezing air. 40 seconds while the target keeps moving. Baker whispers numbers under his breath. July 24th. 1942, 11:28 a.m. 25,000 feet above the Solomon Sea. Smoke rises from the wounded destroyer like a black scar across the ocean. From the observation window of the Boeing B-17 Flying Fortress, the crew can clearly see the damage now. Flames lick across the bow. Sailors scramble along the deck like ants fleeing a kicked nest. Inside the bomber, the excitement is immediate. "Did you see that?" The tail gunner shouts through the intercom. But Bombardier Technical Sergeant Harold Baker isn't celebrating yet. His eyes are still locked on the formation below, because the Japanese ships are reacting fast. The other destroyers immediately begin sharp, evasive maneuvers, engines roaring as they accelerate and swing away from the damaged vessel. White foam erupts behind them as the ships attempt to scatter. They've realized something important. The bombs are no longer just splashing harmlessly into the ocean. Panic on the bridge. On the bridge of the stricken destroyer, officers of the Imperial Japanese Navy struggle to understand what just happened. Moments earlier, The bomber formation high above them had seemed harmless. Now the forward gun turret is a twisted wreck of metal. The deck is burning, and several sailors lie motionless where the blast threw them. The captain grips the railing as smoke fills the air. "How?" he mutters. "No dive bombers, no torpedo planes, just bombs falling from the stratosphere. It should have been impossible." Yet the damage in front of him is August 24th, 1942, early afternoon. High above the eastern Solomon Islands, the sky is crowded now. Fighter contrails slash across the blue like white scars. Anti-aircraft bursts bloom in black clouds far below. Radios crackle with overlapping voices, half orders and half panic. Far beneath the chaos, the dark shapes of warships churn through the Pacific. This is no small patrol. This is a fleet. At the center of it all moves one of the most valuable prizes in the Imperial Japanese Navy, the aircraft carrier. Japanese aircraft carrier, Ryujo. Her flight deck stretches like a gray runway across the sea. Aircraft lined up along the bow. Japanese pilots are already launching fighters, racing to intercept American attackers approaching from multiple directions. Because this battle is already underway, and somewhere high above the battlefield, lumbering through thin air, the Boeing B17 Flying Fortress bombers are arriving. The battle nobody expected. The Battle of the Eastern Solomons had begun as a carrier duel. Fast aircraft striking fast ships, dive bombers screaming down through flak, torpedo planes skimming waves at terrifyingly low altitude. This was the kind of battle naval planners understood. But then the bombers arrived. Heavy bombers. Aircraft designed for cities and factories now flying over warships. Japanese officers had already heard rumors. Stories about Boeing B17 Flying Fortress aircraft hitting ships from incredible heights. Most dismissed those reports as October 1942. Dawn. Somewhere over the vast Pacific. The horizon is just beginning to glow orange when the engines start. 4 engines per aircraft. Dozens of aircraft. A deep, rolling thunder spreads across the sky as formation after formation of Boeing B17 Flying Fortress bombers climb, slowly, into the morning light. From a distance they look almost graceful. Huge wings cutting through the clouds. Silver bodies catching the rising sun. But to the men sailing below them across the Pacific, those shapes have begun to mean something very different. Not curiosity. Not amusement. Fear. A reputation earned the hard way. Earlier in the war, Japanese naval officers had laughed at the idea of high-altitude bombers destroying ships. The Imperial Japanese Navy believed naval warfare was decided by speed, maneuver, and close-range attack. Dive bombers screaming down from the sky. Torpedo planes charging just meters above the water. Battleships trading shells across the horizon. Those were the weapons sailors feared. But the war in the Pacific had quietly introduced something new. Patience. American bomber crews of the United States Army Air Forces had spent months refining their craft. Mission after mission. Failure after failure. Every missed bomb became a lesson. Every near miss became data. Bombardiers improved their calculations with the Norden bombsight. Pilots learned how to stabilize their aircraft perfectly during the bombing run. Navigators mastered long-distance